What's up? This is Audrey.
And this is Braxton.
And welcome to the Hive. Okay, now the blanket is settled.
All right.
Welcome to the Hive, y'all. Just for some context, this room that we're in is super echoey, and so we've got this huge turquoise blanket over us, and it does help with the audio, but it's a little
awkward to set up, to say the least.
Let me just say that we probably look like we're just messing around and just have a huge blanket on our heads, which is, fun or whatever. It can get a little hot in here if you if you don't regulate it, but it's kind of cold outside, so it's not too hot. But
it's pretty cold outside too. I went out there to go get food and I thought I was going to freeze.
Yeah, and it's raining too. Oh my gosh,
it was so bad.
It's so pretty outside right now. I mean, I like the rain. I love this weather, honestly. I could live somewhere like this all year round and not ever get upset. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning into episode 2. We actually have a new form out. It's in the hallways. You just scan that little QR code. It's a big QR code. Sorry about that. My graphic design skills are not that great.
That's why you have me.
Yes, that's why I have a trusty little assistant for something like this. But anyways, and some of you guys sent in some great questions. I'm actually
There was a lot of good questions.
So the first one that we're going to tackle today is one that's it's not advice, but it
kind of is.
It's kind of advice. I mean, you could take this information and run with it, honestly. So, from the asker, I have a question. They ask, what is the best job to have in Kleber? So, there are many different, stances you can take on it. So,
and we broke it down into the most fun job to have, the easiest job to have, and the higher paying jobs to have.
Yeah, too. So, the higher paying jobs probably aren't going to be as fun, honestly.
Yeah, once you turn 18 and you get your OSHA 30, you can go work at the Walmart distribution center for $18 an hour starting.
But also you do have to be 18, so it's kind of
or you can go work at the movie theater.
Okay, so for reference, I work at the movie theater. Show up, you say hi or whatever, and I love it. One of the perks about the movie theater is that there's a lot of movies, right? But they all play it around the same time, so sometimes you get just 1 or 2 hours of downtime to yourself. And normally I draw before cleaning a theater, or I listen to podcasts, or I watch Netflix, and it rocks. And then sometimes when you close, you do all the closing duties, right? But then you get to just sit there for an hour and a half to 2 hours while the movie's finished, and then you just leave, and it's so fun. But then it doesn't pay that great. It's not one of those jobs where you get hired on at 10 an hour, which more people are doing these days.
McDonald's starts you pretty high. Dairy Queen is kind of desperate right now and is starting at 10 an hour.
Yeah, Dairy Queen has the signs and it's we are hiring, and I always feel
so
bad.
But the catch is it says starting up to 15 an hour on their signs. That doesn't mean you'll get 15 an hour. You got to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But
they always seem so desperate, and I'm please.
Yeah. The most fun jobs to have are probably going to be your downtown kind of jobs, if you go work at Mug on the Square, the toy shop, Travado Street. Those are probably going to be your more fun jobs because they're more interactive with people and it's a lot more unique.
Yeah, I think it also depends on if you like to talk to people, because I actually used to work at a downtown shop called Jeans, Jules, and Jesus. Hit them up. They're a little boutique if you're into Western clothes, and that was fun. But also you do kind of get a bunch of It's not a young crowd, It's not it's a bunch of
Well, you're at a boutique called Jeans, Jules, and Jesus. I'm expecting to get a church crowd of middle-aged women.
Okay, that's fair. Wow, it's not. I guess if you worked at Travado Street, it would be different customers. You're right. Hey, and then
what's a really diverse set of customers? The toy store downtown. Because up front they have all the Legos and stuff, but you go to the back, they have Warhammer 40K, Dungeons and Dragons. And all that stuff. So, and they have their own game room set up back there. So there's a lot of diverse crowd going to that one too.
Wait, there's people. I've never been there.
There is a toy store downtown by Wright Plaza, and it's really cool. And there's a lot of diverse groups in there. I went in there the other day. There is children up front buying Legos, and then in the back there's a group playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow, that's super cool, actually.
So if you're into that stuff, that'd probably be a fun place to go work too. I don't know if they're hiring, but might be worth checking out.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And then, when also you have to think of benefits. So I know Starbucks has benefits. You can go to college.
Yeah, so does Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A has that. And then I know that Starbucks does give you free Spotify Premium for some reason.
And you get free coffee beans like every week. Or like month.
Like those are great benefits. But also you do have like Starbucks customers are probably not the best. And it's basically a fast food job.
Yeah.
Which is not fun. I work at Taco Bell. I guess I'm just going through all the different jobs that I've worked.
I worked at Taco Casa.
Ooh, 2 taco employees.
I don't want to talk about Taco Casa. It was rough.
Hey, yeah, no, fast food is rough. If you work in fast food, mad respect.
Yeah.
I don't think that I could ever do it again because I almost, fought several customers on several.
I've had drinks thrown at me. I got cussed out. Yeah.
They're not fun, but
I mean, but a great way to get money is go work at a restaurant, be a server if you can, get those tips.
Yeah. So for our second question that we have here is, this is a more serious one, and I'm just gonna read it out. It's kind of longer, so bear with me. So, Stressed Senior is asking, why does this year feel more stressful than before? I'm doing the same things I've always done, but it's getting harder to handle. Any more work and I'll fall apart. We all need a little help, especially me. How am I supposed to be involved? I'm in a lot of clubs, which gets in the way of study time, and still keep up. Help. So, great question, Senior. Honestly, both of us are seniors, so I think we could totally.
I definitely agree. I've been doing the same thing for all 3 school years, except for sophomore year.
Yeah, no.
And it's stressful. It's hard. My classes are hard. I suck at math. Pre-cal's hard.
Yeah.
It's definitely difficult. It definitely takes a lot, especially if you're in clubs and you don't have time to study, because studying your senior year is definitely a big part of your senior year getting prepped for college, because the classes are 10 times harder.
Yeah, and okay, so I'm super involved. I'm in a lot of different clubs. I'm in, a lot of different things. I'd say that I'm pretty academic, but you have to study, right? Studying is important. And so you can break this down, I say. So stuff that helps me with being stressed is, number one, I like to make my study time not fun, but I like to make it more relaxing. So normally when I study, or if I know that I'm going to have this big test, I like to reward myself a little bit. So I'll go and get myself Starbucks, or I'll do, whatever that is. And that kind of, helps me study a little bit, because it gives me something to look forward to either at the beginning or the end, so that I can get started. And then another thing that you could probably do is self-care. And a lot of people will talk about self-care go get a mask, or sleep.
Just wake up 5 minutes earlier to take a shower.
Yeah, and it's that's self-care.
Brush your teeth a minute longer.
Yeah, and it's that's self-care, but you also have to take care of your body.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that sometimes you take breaks, and that you're always just aware of stuff. And it can be really easy to focus in on one class and get really stressed about it, and you kind of have to just keep an open mind. I mean, do you have any advice, Braxton?
Yeah, for one part, it said they're in a lot of clubs and have a lot of time to study. That's difficult. It definitely is stressful when you get home. It's 8 o'clock at night. You're wore out. You're tired.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I just don't I literally don't go in my room until I'm done. Because I know the moment I go in my room, it's all over. The day's over. So I will go sit in the living room. I'll go sit in our den. I'll go to Starbucks and go study there.
Yeah, and brain associations are a thing. So I know that in sleep studies they do. You're not supposed to get on your phone in bed, because your brain will learn to associate being in bed with being on your phone. And then whenever you get in bed, it's oh no, I'm on my phone, and then you can't go to sleep. So I imagine the same thing would have to apply to doing homework. So if you do your homework in the same place each time, maybe when you walk into your house and you go immediately to your dining room or something. Then when you're in the dining room, you'll think, oh, I should do my homework right now or something. And which, that sounds so unrealistic, but
I do need to do my homework right now.
Yeah,
but another thing I actually read online for a class was that don't take more than 15 minutes at a time to study, because you do that, you will overload your brain, because you're trying to put too much information in such a little amount of time. Take breaks.
So I think one of the methods is you study for 15 minutes.
I take a 10-minute break. I go back to studying. And that 10-minute break, I will go walk around, make some food, make some coffee, some tea.
So that's honestly my advice. And I know that it can be super hard, especially as a senior, because not only do you have all of these classes, now you're thinking about college applications, and now you're thinking about, where you're going to go to college and how you're going to pay for college. Yeah. And that is stressful as well.
Also, seniors, do your FAFSA.
Hey, yes.
Please, for the love of everything, do your FAFSA.
Like, even if you think that you don't need it, you should always fill it out because that's also gonna help you with like scholarships. But anyways, that's like that's like actual life, like that's like life advice. Like just do your FAFSA.
Do your FAFSA.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Hive. Keep sending in those questions. We really appreciate them. They were really great. We might even like go back and reuse some of like from past weeks because we got some really funny ones. I mean, honestly, thank you for the content. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, guys. We should try
Jello tasting next time.
Oh my gosh, we should just record ourselves.
Thank you, the Jello Lorax.
Yes, thank you, the Jello Lorax, for asking which Jello tastes the worst. I admit I'm not the biggest Jello fan, so I don't eat it a lot. But we should just bring different samples of Jello. That would be horrible to listen to.
Anyway.
Anyways, I'm gonna forget that idea. Anyways, all right. Thanks you for listening. Bye.
Bye, guys.